Do you have that one friend who seems to know an insufferable amount about a lot of random subjects? The person who chimes in with the odd and sometimes highly disturbing fun fact. Well, my name is Carly, and I am that friend. I often find myself wondering about topics that range from the history of certain holidays to what makes some wines expensive and some a little on the cheaper side. So I make use of that mini supercomputer I carry everywhere and just look it up. Lately, I have decided to share the random knowledge that I acquire with all of you lovely listeners. So welcome to I'm Already Looking It Up. Let's have a drink and learn a thing or two. Hello. You're listening to I'm Already Looking It Up, the podcast where I, your host, research a random topic and tell you, my lovely listeners, all about it. So without further ado, let's get started. So today's topic, or this episode's topic, I should say, it's going to be interesting, and if you looked at the title, you already have maybe some idea of what I'm going to be talking about. I didn't get an episode idea for my dad's birthday, so I was trying to think of something that sort of reminded me of my dad, or something that he might think is funny or something like that. And originally was gonna go with Bigfoot, and I am gonna talk about Bigfoot later on. That's a planned episode, but that's a whole thing. So for now, we're gonna talk a bit about sharks. And the reason for sharks is when I was a kid, I watched Jaws at a pretty young age, and I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love watching it with my dad, or both my parents, really, more than anything. And with the movie Jaws, I have a great respect for sharks and what they are in our ecosystem and everything. And I seriously love them. They're my favorite marine animal. The only thing is, I don't want to go swimming with them. If you've seen Jaws, you know why. But I do love the animal, and it's one of those things, like I share with my dad, Bigfoot is kind of one of those too, where we're just kind of fascinated by them, and they're interesting. And we used to watch Shark Week sometimes, whenever we could catch it. So, sharks. So, on to the name of this episode, which is rather stupid. So, I am one of those people who, I don't know, if I'm in a group of people, or I'm talking to someone for the first time, or, I just want to kind of, show off my ridiculous mind trap that captures the random facts that I hear and see, I like to pull out a fun fact, and I have a couple of them, but the one in this title is one of my go-tos, which is that sharks have 2 penises. And I also found out recently that this is not entirely true. But first, the story about this fact. I remember I learned this from a comedy special. It was a Craig Ferguson comedy special where he mentioned it, and I was like, there's no way that's real. That's fake. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, it was real. It was a real fact. And the fact is a little different now, but I'll explain that in a second. So I remember, not long after I'd seen that comedy special, my dad and I, and my grandma and my mom, we'd all gone to this aquarium in Oklahoma, because that's where we were, and we were just, having a good time at this aquarium, seeing all the cool sea life and everything, and we get into this, the shark tank is huge, and it's got this big tunnel you can walk through, and the sharks can go over you and everything, and it's really, really neat, and I love it. And as a shark is passing by overhead, I was with my dad, and my mom and my grandma were somewhere else, and I look up and I go, huh, it's true. And my dad was like, what's true? And I said, well, sharks have 2 penises. Look. And he looks up and he was like, oh my God, that's kind of crazy. So it's not, not a crazy story, but it's kind of funny in the way that we just kind of, yeah. But it's not entirely true. So it's not, the thing is, it's not a penis in the way we think a penis is. All right, so what it's actually called is a clasper. In biology, a clasper is a male anatomical structure found in some groups of animals used in mating. So it's not even just a shark thing. And not all sharks actually have this, I learned. So, male cartilaginous fish, I hope I said that right, have claspers formed from the posterior portion of their pelvic fin, which serve to channel semen into the female's cloaca during mating. The action of mating in some fish, including sharks, usually includes one of the claspers raised to allow water into the siphon through a specific orifice. The clasper is then inserted into the cloaca, where it opens like an umbrella to anchor its position. The siphon then begins to contract, expelling water and sperm. The claspers of many shark species have spines or hooks, which may hold them in place during copulation. Male chimeras have cephalic claspers, tenacula, on their heads, which are thought to aid in holding the female during mating. In entomology, it is a structure in male insects that is used to hold the female during copulation. So, alright, what this is basically saying is it holds them still. So, I don't know if any of you know what a cloaca is. I know what a cloaca is because I know way too much about animal genitalia. Way more than I probably should. And I will not explain how or why. So cloaca is one hole, it does everything, right? You poop, you pee out of that hole. They don't have separate holes for that. And you also mate with that hole. So, yeah, it's basically what a clasper is it holds the female in place while, they're mating, basically, is what I gather. So yeah, I had always thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever learned, and I would bring it up because I have a couple of these little facts that I just throw out there and see what people have to say about them. And in fact, there will be an episode probably later this week that is going to be full of these facts because one of my best friend's birthdays was this last month, and for her birthday episode, I'm going to be doing traumatizing animal facts. So that'll be fun because I love to talk about the strange things that animals do because sometimes we forget nature is just as fucking weird as humans are. So it's all nature. It's all weird. So anyway, I love to pull up this fact out of my back pocket because people always give me the weirdest looks. They're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I will never tell you. But I just know it. But of course, the truth is I heard a comedian talking about it, and I was like, no way, and looked it up, because that's what I do. That's what the whole podcast is. Funny enough. Okay, so, to continue with this was going to be part of my traumatizing animal facts, but because I just like sharks, and I just want to talk about sharks, and how cool they are, and how strange they are, I have some shark facts. Now, this episode is probably not going to be super long, It would surprise me if I got to 30 minutes, though I did just spend like 10 minutes talking about shark penises and cloacas. But I have some facts we can talk about, some animal things, some shark things specifically, and then maybe we can, if I feel like there needs to be a little more, I'll talk about some other shark things. So we're gonna start with an article from NOAA Fisheries. Just 12 shark facts that may surprise you. Number 1, sharks do not have bones, which is why in the other article they called them cartilaginous fish. They have cartilage, not bones. There is a special type of fish known as Elsmobrox, which translates into fish made of cartilaginous tissues, the clear, gristly stuff that your ears and nose tip are made of. So, you know what cartilage is? That's what sharks have. They don't have bones. This category also includes rays, sawfish, and skates. Their cartilaginous skeletons are much lighter than true bone, and their large livers are full of low-density oils, both helping them to be buoyant. Even though sharks don't have bones, they can still fossilize. As most sharks age, they deposit calcium salts in their skeletal cartilage to strengthen it. The dried jaws of a shark appear to feel heavy and solid, much like bone. These same minerals allow most shark skeletal systems to fossilize quite nicely. The teeth have enamel, so they show up in the fossil record too. Pretty neat. I think I knew that. I'm not going to promise I know all of these off the top of my head. I'm not a shark expert. I did want to be a marine biologist as a kid, and then I realized the ocean is scary and I don't want to go in it. But I do know I like sharks, honestly. Maybe I don't know everything about them, but I think they're cool. Most sharks have good eyesight. Most sharks can see well in dark lighted areas, have fantastic night vision, and can see colors. The back of sharks' eyeballs have a reflective layer of tissue called a tapetum. This helps sharks see extremely well with little light. Neat. Sharks have special electroreceptor organs. They have a small black spot near the nose, eyes, and mouth. These spots are ampullae of Lorenzini, special electroreceptor organs that allow the shark to sense electromagnetic fields and temperature shifts in the ocean. So, pretty cool. They got special powers. Shark skin feels exactly like sandpaper because it is made up of tiny teeth-like structures called placoid scales. I didn't know this one, but it's kind of cool because I always kind of wondered why sharks were more skin-like than had scales like fish. But I guess not all fish have scales. I don't know. It's very interesting. Also known as dermal denticles. These scales point towards the tail and help reduce friction from surrounding water when the shark swims. Neat. So it makes it more comfy. Sharks can go into a trance. When you flip a shark upside down, they go into a trance-like state called tonic immobility. This is the reason you often see sawfish flipped over when our scientists are working on them in the water, which is fair. I actually didn't know this one because this one I learned on Shark Week. Sharks have been around for a very long time. Based on fossil scales found in Australia and the United States, scientists hypothesize sharks first appeared in the ocean around 455 million years ago. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Well, I mean, if you know what a megalodon is, you know sharks have been around for a long time. Oh. Scientists age sharks by counting rings on their vertebrae, like a tree. Vertebrae contain concentric pairs of opaque and translucent bands. Band pairs are counted like rings on a tree, and then scientists assign an age to the shark based on the count. Thus, if the vertebrae has 10 band pairs, it is assumed to be 10 years old. Recent studies, however, have shown that this assumption is not always correct. Researchers must therefore study each species and size class to determine how often the band pairs are deposited, because the disposition rate may change over time. Determining the actual rate that the bands are deposited is called validation. Dope. Still neat. The one thing I really love about science and just anything, honestly, any subject, is that nothing is solid fact, I feel like. There are some things that are like, yeah, that's like math. That's, we know how math works. Numbers tend not to lie. But like with biology or with history, there's a lot of things that can be interpreted differently, or maybe we just, got it wrong before, and then we believed this like one crazy fact, and then it found out it just wasn't true at all. So I love that about science and education and learning, is that everything is always changing all the time. And you should always be sure to check your sources. And that's kind of how this started with the whole 2 penises thing, because that was a fact. I looked it up and it said, yes, sharks have 2 penises. And then later on, I was told different. So, pretty interesting stuff. The next one is blue sharks are really blue. The blue shark displays a brilliant blue color on the upper portion of its body and is normally snowy white beneath. The mako and porbeagle sharks also exhibit a blue coloration, but it is not nearly as brilliant as that of the blue shark. In life, most sharks are brown, olive, or grayish. Pretty cool. I'll have to look up pictures of the blue shark. Each whale shark spot pattern is as unique as a fingerprint. Whale sharks are the biggest fish in the ocean. They can grow up to 12.2 meters and weigh as much as 40 tons by some estimates. That is huge. I love whale sharks. They're cute. They're adorable. They won't hurt you necessarily. Just don't get sucked up into their mouths. Oh no, wait, basking sharks are the ones with the mouths, aren't they? I don't know. Basking sharks are the world's second largest fish, growing as long as 32 feet and weighing more than 5 tons. Yeah, I think whale sharks don't do the sucking. Basking sharks do. Some species of sharks have a spiracle that allows them to pull water into their respiratory system while at rest. Most sharks have to keep swimming to pump water over their gills. A shark's spiracle is located just behind the eyes, which supplies oxygen directly to the shark's eyes and brain. Bottom-dwelling sharks, like angel sharks and nurse sharks, use this extra respiratory organ to breathe while at rest on the sea floor. It's also used for respiration when the shark's mouth is used for eating. Neat. I did know that sharks usually have to keep moving to breathe, so. Not all sharks have the same teeth. Mako sharks have very pointed teeth, while white sharks have triangular serrated teeth. Each leave a unique telltale mark on their prey. A sandbar shark will have around 35,000 teeth over the course of its lifetime. I want a great white tooth, like a legitimate great white tooth. I just do. I think that would be cool. I want one. So, get on. No, I'm kidding. But I'm gonna have to look up, see where I can find one. And then sharks different shark species reproduce in different ways, which I thought this was cool because I actually didn't really know this. I thought all sharks gave live birth, but that's not true. Excuse me. Sharks exhibit a great diversity in their reproductive modes. There are oviparous, egg-laying species, and viviparous, live-bearing species. Oviparous species lay eggs that develop and hatch outside the mother's body with no parental care after the eggs are laid. So they just dump and done. They're like, it'll be fine. But I did know some of them gave live birth. I just thought all of them gave live birth, but they don't. Which is really cool. I also knew that sometimes, and I learned this from Casual Geographics, he's one of my favorite YouTube channels because animals, and I love talking about animals and listening to things about animals, that some sharks, I don't know if this is all sharks, maybe just the ones who give live birth, that makes sense. They actually typically will only give birth to, I think, like 1 or 2, and don't quote me on this, I could be wrong, but typically in the womb, they have more like 5 or 6, and the other 2 tend to, it's a survival of the fittest situation in which sharks in the womb will actually eat their siblings in the womb, and I don't mean eat as in like absorb like humans do, I mean like they attack and kill them in the womb, which is really, really brutal, but really cool, honestly. So you don't really want to get reincarnated as a shark if you believe in reincarnation, because you might just like not even make it out of your mom, and that sucks. A lot of animals are actually like that, though. I think hyenas, they don't do that in the womb, but they do. It's very early, like siblings will kill each other type deal, so kind of crazy. All right, so I have another article from ZSL. That's just a few more facts, and I'm really trying to milk this for at least 30 minutes. All right, so we knew about around 450 million years ago was when we know the oldest sharks. There are more than 500 species of sharks, and just 3, the great white shark, the bull shark, the tiger shark, are responsible for most reported attacks on humans. Such attacks are very rare. In fact, for every human killed by a shark, 2 million sharks are killed by humans, with a quarter of the world's shark species now at risk of extinction. In fact, you're 75 times more likely to be killed by lightning than by a shark. So stop hunting sharks. Damn it. They are cool, and they help the ecosystem, and I don't care about shark fin soup. It's stupid. You don't even taste anything. It's all cartilage. Stop hunting sharks. Now. All right. Sharks get through up to 30,000 teeth in a lifetime. They never stop generating new teeth, and their gums work like a conveyor belt. Teeth grow from the back and move forward when needed. So if a tooth breaks in the front row, there's always a row behind to replace it. And they get through a lot. All right, pretty neat. Sharks are so cool. The sea isn't the only place that sharks can be found, as a few species have the ability to venture into freshwater systems. In the Bahamas, South Africa, and Australia, bull sharks will travel up and down rivers. It takes a lot of energy for them to move between saltwater and freshwater, but being able to do so opens up a whole new set of prey for them. Meanwhile, the epaulet shark, which is found around coral reefs in New Guinea and Australia, can leave the sea by climbing out of the water at low tide and walking between tide pools to hunt stranded prey. All right, I have to look up this freaking shark because that is terrifying. Hold on. Excuse me, I thought I was safe on land. Shark, show me this thing. Oh, that's not that scary. He's cute. He's a little baby. Okay, so he uses his fins. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, but he's so cute. I want one. Well, there's a sticker on Redbubble. Might be buying that later. Adorable. Alright. Kind of looks like a little sucker fish. Alright, back to shark facts. That's still terrifying, because I'm sure it probably still has sharp teeth. Big pointy teeth. But still cool. There are far more sharks off the UK coast than people think, including larger species such as blue sharks and basking sharks. They are most often spotted around England's southwest coast, north of Ireland and Scotland. Sharks are found all around the world's major oceans, even in the Arctic, which is home to the Greenland shark, which is a crazy ass fucking thing. This remarkable fish is thought to live up for 400 years, making it the longest living vertebrate known to science. And that is also like, I want to look that one up too, because Greenland sharks are huge, if I remember correctly. Yeah, big boys, real big boys. They are freaking cool. Oh, there's one eating a seal. That's lovely. That's not what I needed to see right now. But yeah, big boys. They can live for a very long time. As far as we know, I should say. But that's pretty cool. All right. Keep looking up pictures of sharks. I just like sharks, damn it. Let's see. Sharks can adopt some very unique and clever ways of hunting. Thresher sharks have an incredibly long upper caudal tail fin, which they use like a whip to stun and kill their prey. Cool. Angel sharks, on the other hand, are ambush predators. They bury themselves in sand and wait for prey to go over their, I'm guessing over their spot, and then they jump up and get them. I don't know. But I'm assuming. Kind of like a, what fish does that? There's a fish that does that too. Yeah. Some sharks have evolved in a way that means they have to keep swimming to breathe. So yep, this was kind of the opposite of what the other one said. The great white is one example. We don't really understand how this impacts them sleeping, but there has been recent footage showing female great whites where she minimizes as many of her bodily functions as possible while still moving. It could be a similar system to dolphins, as they can shut down one side of their brain, just the other half regulating them. As yet, no one knows for sure whether sharks are capable of this. So, that could be the case. We don't know. But I think that's cool. That, I mean, it's sad, it sucks, because they can't really stop. But dolphins are the same way, so, and dolphins are terrifying creatures. Never want to meet a dolphin. Tiny pores in the end of the shark's snout are filled with gel that is very sensitive to electrical signals in the water. So this is kind of mentioned in the last one. I think it's a little different. This is a known electrical sense, and it makes up one of the shark's 3 primary senses. They use those 3 senses at different times. So to initially approach prey, they use smell. Then the electrical signal is used for more fine-scale hunting, and vision kicking in at the last minute only. Pretty cool. Huge variation in size for different shark species. The largest alive today is the whale shark, which I love a whale shark. A whopper that can grow up to 40 feet in length and weigh 4.5 tons. Excuse me. And at the other end of the spectrum, we have the dwarf lantern shark, which can fit in the palm of your hand. These curious fish are found in very deep water, so few people ever see them. Dwarf lantern shark. All right. Gotta look that one up too. Oh, he's so cute. He's a little baby. I love it. He's got real big eyes. Probably because he lives in the deep in the depths of the ocean. He's so cute though. All right. I love it. Okay. All right. So, some shark species have been known to reproduce via virgin birth. Virgin in quotations. Process known as parthenogenesis. This was recently observed in the critically endangered small-toothed sawfish. It occurs when females fertilize themselves with material that splits off from an egg as it divides, but then fuses back with the egg. Some sharks have also been known to eat their siblings in the womb. Yeah, there we go. The fastest growing embryos will feast on the yolk sacs and the embryos of the less developed brothers and sisters, which is so terrifying, but so cool. So yeah, there you have it. There's some shark facts. I love sharks so much. I think they are cool animals, and I think we need to stop messing with them and stop giving dolphins the right of way, because dolphins are awful and mean, and I don't like them. Sharks are cool. Sharks are neat. This little shark that can walk on land is so cute. I wonder how big he gets. A little shark. I've seen, Tanked, the show Tanked. I used to watch that a lot because I like seeing the aquariums. I have a thing about sea life. I really like sea life. I just don't want to be in the water with them, because sea life is, terrifying, but they're interesting and really cool and pretty. But yeah, Tanked, they used to, there sometimes they had people who wanted sharks, and I've seen these little guys, these, epaulette sharks in there before, so that's neat. Let's gonna see if there's anything else that we could look at. Cool shark things. Came up with an Amazon thing. Yeah. Okay. It just came up with a bunch of shark-themed gifts. I actually have a couple of, I have a whale and a shark at the edge of my bed. My brother, when I was a kid, used to have a Beanie Baby shark. We liked that Beanie Baby shark a lot. Wonder whatever happened to that. Have to ask him. But yeah, so that's sharks, man. What can I say? I love sharks. I know this episode isn't very long, but hey man, you get to hear me rattle about one of my favorite animals of all time. I just think they're neat. Insert Marge meme. I just think they're neat. But anyway, I think that's where we will leave it for today. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and if you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and share. Really helps me out. Thanks again, and I will see you next time. Thank you for listening to I'm Already Looking It Up. If you're enjoying the podcast, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/wildforestproductions. Don't forget to check out all the social links below. Thank you!